What is up? Alrighty. Actually, hold up. I gotta do it right. What's up, everybody? I think I pulled it off, actually. Yo, Peter McKinnon, hit me up. Alright, so let's talk about Horimiya. I know that's kind of a weird. I just felt like doing it at that moment. I don't know why. But alright, so let's actually get to the anime we're going to be talking about. Horimiya's episode 5 was really cute, wholesome, great. Honestly, this anime is... When I first saw the first episode, I noticed how fast paced it was, and I noticed how like you're tackling a lot in each episode. I'm not sure, like, is this gonna work? I still enjoyed it, but I did have my doubts. And then the second episode came in. I'm like, all right, similar to the first one, better but similar. And then the third one came in, then the fourth one came, and then the fifth one came, and I'm like, yo, I hear puppies screaming at each other. What was I? Alright, so yeah. The fifth episode was actually really freaking good. And I really do feel like it finally... like, you can see why they did what they did when you see the fifth episode. And you can see that, yeah, they are trying their best to make sure every single character that you see on screen and that you see has, like, a role in the story feels like a character and feels like they have a part in this story, that it's not just about Hori and Miyamura. It's like it's the cast. Like, these two are the pillars, but it's the cast that helps you fit, like, just round it out a bit, and which is great. And while I do love all that's great, all the side characters are really great, but it's this episode just kind of solidified why we love Horimiya. Those two are just great together, and while yes, sometimes Miyamura gets a bit too docile, and sometimes he gets a bit too panicky, embarrassed, and it's just like Miyamura, my dude, sometimes you have the best lines in the entire show, and you say something that just like, yo, do you have, like, are you not embarrassed saying what you just said? And then sometimes he's like, I don't know, Hori, I don't. Okay, dude, like, I mean, yeah, it feels more real, but it's just like, tone down that side a bit, just a wee bit. Like, it's up here, bring it down about here. Not that much, right? Here to here, here to here, here to here. It's not that much. And so that's great. So that's my only thing with that. Miyamura's still a great character, don't get me wrong. Don't ever think that I'm just kind of like, oh, Miyamura's trash because of whatever that is. But let's get to Hori here, because I actually think because I'm rereading the manga now. I say rereading, but I've only gotten up to the second chapter. Not because I don't like it, just because I forgot how many pages there are in the chapter. It's like, damn. Each chapter it's a lot of pages. It's not a significant amount more than the usual, for example, a shonen manga, but it is more pages, and it's like, man, I really have to find the time for this. The whole side rant aside, the manga does do a better job making us feel for Hori. Fucking hell, it sounds like I'm saying horny. Hori, she in the manga is very, like, you feel for her. You know why she does what she does. You know why, like, because I see some people having some difficulty understanding why she doesn't want her friends to see her, like, at home. And I'm not really sure the anime does a good job conveying that, but I can't really just blame it on the anime. I think the manga also has a bit of that trouble where they have to just explicitly say that, hey, when Hori's not home, she's makeupless. She doesn't take care of her hair. She doesn't really take care of her image. And that whole image is why she's embarrassed and why she doesn't want anybody else to see her at home. Because she spent so much time building this image at school where she's this really pretty model girl and it's with this wavy, silky hair, that she doesn't want that image of her from school to be ruined by the image of her at home. And her image at home is just her not caring about her looks. So that's why she doesn't want anybody from school to see her like this. And you get to see that mindset a bit more in the manga than you do in the anime. But I think this episode really tried to rectify that a bit. Now, I don't know about you, and not necessarily me as well, but I have heard some concerns how, like, yo, Hori right now, I keep going back and forth between Hori and Hori. I have to pick a lane eventually. I just don't know when. I heard some concerns where people were kind of, you know what? Maybe some people aren't gonna be very fond of Hori because of how aggressive she is, how much of a tsundere she appears to be in the anime. And don't get me wrong, she is a bit of a tsundere. I'm not gonna deny that. But I think she's the best kind of tsundere, where she's only mad when she actually has kind of a valid reason to be mad. She just takes it it's a bit too much at times, which is understandable. I think Hori, for most anime girls, like, she is the most realistic high school girl in any other anime like scenario, or high school scenario. Not saying she's the best example of a high schooler. I'm just saying, like, yes, I can totally see this character like in real life. I feel like I know a girl like this in real life. Not that I had many friends who were girls, but you know, whatever. It's not about me. And that just kind of boils it together that, yeah, I can see these characters. Maybe not to a one-to-one, like, just projection of real life, but I just, like, these characters are fun enough for me to just keep enjoying the ride, despite the story not really being there. And I do kind of go back to what I said, I think, in the first review I did of this, where it's kind of like a slice of life comedy, and right now we see more of the slice of life stuff than the comedy. In the manga, this thing is hilarious. Oh my god, they're cutting a lot of jokes, but you still feel the full effect of the characters, because it just kind of presents themselves like this. It's not really much of a drama show in the manga, but it definitely is kind of leaning towards that in the anime, I guess. So that's why I kind of feel off saying kind of slice of life, but that's just how I feel. You know what I mean? Maybe you don't know what I mean. It's like, I know what this is in the manga, and it's not dramatic in the least. It does have its tension at times where some characters butt heads, but it's not built to be this really, like, drawn out drama, which kind of which wears me out at time. But the anime does kind of paint it that way a bit more than it is in the manga. So I can see why some people would call this more of a drama with some comedy in it than a slice of life with some comedy in it. I definitely would lean more towards a slice of life comedy, but that's just me. That's just how I view it. Comment below if you view it like that as well. Maybe I'm just the only one, but I don't know. That's just me. To go into more detail about this episode, it will be a bit spoilery because there's something happens in this episode that is fantastic. It was like, yes. And it does involve two characters, and I'm not going to say which characters because, like I said before, this anime really likes to try to make the side characters feel more. And because of that, I guess it isn't too much of a spoiler if I just say two characters have a moment together that just feels real good. And we're still getting introduced to another character, which is fantastic because in the manga, this character is one of my favorites. I'm not sure how anybody else feels about him because I'm not much of a person to go to the forums or to Twitter for this. I just, like, based on my opinion, based on my reading, this character that we're introduced to this episode is fan-fucking-tastic. I hope he brings a lot of the comedy that Horimiya is typically known for, and let's see it. Tell me in the comments below, what do you think about this episode? It has been a fantastic episode for me, but maybe you have a different opinion. That's alright. The puppies are screaming at each other again. Tell me in the comments below, what do you think about this episode? I think it's been really fucking fantastic. I think I've repeated myself too, but you know what? Let's move on. Alrighty, thank you for coming to the Lobby for Hobbies, and I'll see you next time you check in at the lobby. Peace.